Loss versus weight loss, and having spoken to a couple of people, I just wanted to delve into it a little bit more, and I'm going to use a client, not mention any names, just as an example because we spoke about it today. Now, this person has lost weight in the past, gained weight again, lost weight after that, gained weight a little bit again, and it's something, there's a complexity of the principles of fat loss are relatively simple. It's a measure of calories in versus calories out. But basically over the complexity of the human just makes it a little bit more complicated. Now, what I know about this person is their weight is 62 kilos. Okay, maintenance calories for their current activity is, sorry, I'm scribbling, is 1700. So what we know about this 1700 is that if they consume consistently on average above 1700, they will gain body fat. And if they go under 1700 consistently, they will lose, spell that wrong, body fat. Okay, so what we will see in that, when we talk about body fat, which is what we're interested in, it is purely 100% calories. Calories in being less than calories out. So we need to just increase how many we burn. Now, we spoke last week about weight being a multitude of factors. So I'm just going to get rid of this. And we'll go back to what we spoke about last week. So last week we spoke about body fat is calories, 100%. Weight is food in transit. You've got muscle, liver, energy stores. You've got toileting and food type. What else we got? Of water. Not sure if I've missed any, can't think off the top of my head, might have missed a couple there. Anyway, but you can see all these factors. So if I just, all of these, or not forgetting calories, but all of those, they are, from what we can see, majority, other than calories in, calories out affecting weight, you have nothing there that is calorie dependent. Okay, they are all different factors that are controlled by different bits and pieces. So it could be food type that could be contributing, not the calorie volume of that, but food type. It could be whether you're exercising, it could be how big your muscles are. Various little bits and pieces that are going to have an effect on our weight, but not necessarily our body fat. Now, I'm just going to rub that out. So what we're seeing is that if we want to improve our muscle tone, it's not very quick, is it? We want to reduce our calorie intake. So for this lady, she needs to go from 1700 calories and just consume less. Now, the question that this lady was asking me is, but what happens, will it always, what's going to happen to my calories on the way down? And we're going to talk a little bit about maintenance here as well. So this lady decided that she would eat 1200 calories. She wanted to average 1200 calories a day. Okay. Now, this is the bit here, is that what we typically have is that when we start losing 1200, it's a 500 calorie deficit. It's a pound fat loss per week. Now, what this is going to look like is that we are going to trend with our weight down. Now, what I worked out with this lady with her current activity is that she continued on 1,200 calories. She would eventually hit weight maintenance at approximately 40 kilos. Now, there's other factors in terms of it, but let's just say that fat got reduced down to 40 kilos and that's what she weighed. What she would then see at 40 kilos is a plateau. So 40 kg equals a plateau. Okay, this is when her energy in, energy out is matched and her weight would remain the same. Now, we don't normally do this. We don't find the calories that we need for the weight that we need. What we do is we just sometimes go to a calorie restriction. We go to a place we're happy. So this lady wanted to hop off at this mark. She wants to hop off at 57. So the journey is 1,200 calories down to this mark of 57 kilos. And then she wants to learn how to sustain 57 kilos. Now, what we have at 57 kilos is that her maintenance calories will have changed. So the amount of calories you need is determined by how much weight that you currently sit at. So at 62 kilos, she required 1,700 to sustain being at 62 kilos. But at her new weight of 57, she was going to hop off the journey. What's this? Slow. So for this lady, she was going to trickle her weight down with 1,200 calories and get to 57 kilos. Now imagine this as a train stop. 1,200 is a deficit that is going to get you all the way down to 40. And sometimes we're just going to hop off at 57. And then the next stage is maintenance calories. Now maintenance calories is the new norm that we need to resume or maintain our weight. So the new maintenance now for this lady to maintain her weight at 57 kilos, maintenance now equals 1,650. Okay, so when we're looking to maintain our calories, it is something that is constantly evolved. It's not the case that you have a slower or faster metabolism. It's the fact that your needs for energy have changed. So when this lady has reduced her body fat down, reduced her weight and her body fat down to 57, she was now maintaining at this new 1,650. Okay, I hope everyone's sort of with me at the moment. Now, if she decided that she wanted to lose more weight, she'd hop back on that train journey that would take her down, and she would lose body fat as long as her calories were less than 1,650. She would now gain weight if she went above 1,650. But she's going to hop back on that journey. And let's say now she wants to be, I want to be 55, or I'm going to bit space it. I want to be 50 kilos. And then her new maintenance, I'm just going to hazard a guess, is probably around 1,550. And so that maintenance is something that is constantly changing. And it's a realization that diets fail, not because the diet has failed, it's because the education and processes post-diet. So this lady has gained weight, perhaps because the joy of getting her to the weight she got to, and she thought her job was done and she was happy, and she just probably relaxed a little bit too much. Life gets in the way. Often we lose weight for an occasion, we let loose and the stress is gone. But if your weight is 50, if your weight is 55, your maintenance could be 1,550. If your weight is 50, it could be 1,400. It could be 40, 1,200. So energy is constantly, the demands decrease the more you lose weight. Okay, and that is something that's not explained. Now, one of the big questions is that, and one of the struggles with fat loss is that this lady would have got down to 57, I'm going to put it in here, at 1,650. But what typically happens, and this comes back to the weight fluctuations, is that to maintain weight 1650, but if she was losing weight at 1200, it would have perhaps been a lower food intake, a lower carb intake, so lower, let's write this down, lower food, less food, lower carb, so muscle stores are less. Now what we might see at 57 when she resumes to go to 1650 is that energy stores fill up again, more food to digest, and so the weight just might creep up a little bit, and the weight now might start to fluctuate between sort of 57 and possibly 59 or 56 and 58, because that's what we can never 100% control our weight fluctuations. So in this case, never get upset when your weight goes up a kilo, because it can potentially happen, and it's not uncommon. Yet sometimes when we go up a kilo, we think we've undone our good work, whereas you haven't. You just might not have gone to the loo for the day. You might have just slightly had a different makeup of a meal. You might have slightly higher carbohydrates. So your weight is never going to sit bang on a number at any point. It's going to go above and it's going to go below. And the big difference between the big thing to note that when she goes to maintain 1650 is that the body fat that she is now at, if she maintains calories, and body fat is going to remain exactly the same. It's not going to budge at this new level just in here. And this is the bit that we sometimes forget, is our weight fluctuations once you've got down to your weight. And it's really important that you don't put all your emphasis on achieving a weight, because it can so quickly disappear, especially if you're going for a landmark weight of, say, maybe just drop into out of the 60s, is that if you have one more dinner, you're probably back in the 60s. And are you going to be unhappy because you've just done that? No. Well, no, you possibly might be, but with a bit of understanding, hopefully you won't be. And this weight maintenance and understanding what happens with your weight is really important. Now, it's just getting on to be quite a long video, and I hope you do watch it. I'll be distraught if you don't watch it. Now, the final point I want to make, if I can remember it, let me scribble some of this out. So the final point I want to make is, what does a body fat or fat loss increase change look like, and can we really tell when we look at what's going on in when we maybe measure or track our weight? So I'm going to set the new norm, and I'm just going to bring in a little bit of what I did a video on at the back end of last week. And if you remember, the back end of last week was, what does it look like to lose a kilo of body fat? So 1 kilo of body fat is approximately 7,700 calories. Now, what we know with this lady, that at her weight of 57 kilos, maintenance equals 1650. Now, not the most easy numbers, but this is a true case study, so something to relate to. Now, if this lady was to gain, say like day 1 she was this weight, and day 2 she woke up and she was 58 kilos. And it's like, oh no, I've gained a kilo overnight. What's gone on? Now, basically, what we are saying is that to gain a kilo of body fat, because body fat's what we're interested in, it would have to be 1650, which is maintenance, plus 7,700. So let's do the maths on that. Brain's not thinking. Equals 9,300. So in one day, that person would have to consume that amount of calories to alter their body fat by 1 kilo. Now, we can safely say that this lady didn't. She might have had an indulgent day slightly. She might have had 1,850 calories. And her body fat would have literally, what we're talking, Her body fat would have changed just a tiny amount. Tiny amount. A body fat would literally be, what is it? What's that? 25? Yes, so quick check and I was correct. So if this lady did consume an extra 200 calories, she would only actually gain 25 grams of body fat in that. So you can see that for you to make a big change in your body fat, it does take quite huge changes in your calories. So never feel like you're losing control hugely or you're going in a slightly wrong direction. It takes being consistently indulgent, consistently over this new number to see weight or body fat changes. Your weight is always going to acutely change from day to day. Now, I want to take it back another step. Last little one. What would it look like for this lady to make a big dent in her, in a kilo of body fat? And how long what is the quickest that she could lose a kilo of body fat? Let's just do that. So, if, for instance, this lady then dropped to 56 kilos overnight, what you would probably have to notice is that you would be having to try and deduct that. So a kilo of body fat overnight, as you can see, if she doesn't eat, then the most she can probably lose is what's that? So 0.2 of a kilo, 0.21 of a kilo is the most body fat you could lose in a day. And that would be just by not eating. So I hope in this video I have helped explain what happens on a weight loss journey. Very much like a train journey, in the sense that the calories you consume are not the calories you consume to lose weight are not the calories you have to maintain weight. They are both very much different numbers. This final point I'm just going to draw and leave for you as a visual. This lady, again, if she was looking to eat 1200, she would just keep going and going. But at some point you have to get off that weight and that place where you feel is the best place for you. And that it was here for this lady. And then at this weight, she was just looking to increase her calories back up to a maintenance of 1650 so that she could stay in a happy weighted area.